and welcome back to my Dandelion Diaries. We're continuing with our oranges. So today is going to be oranges number 2. These are ones I considered a little bit more orange versus like yellow orange or red orange, or ones that just kind of only fit into the orange category for me. As for supplies today, we have my A5 Hobonichi notebook with the original Tomoe paper, a little tape dispenser because I haven't gotten a ink vial holder yet, 9 inks, 1 baby bottle of them, but the rest are samples. I have a jar of water over here, my condiment cup, which was inspired by Leanne Like's dropper, pen, this is the 𝗂𝗍𝗄𝗎 brass tip pen with the 𝗬𝗂𝗄𝗎 handle, and then my old t-shirt over here. And yeah, we're just gonna jump straight in and start off with our first ink, and this is Ferris Wheel Press Pumpkin Patch. This ink is 100% screaming orange fall pumpkin patch to me. I feel like Ferris Wheel Press always does a very good job with their naming. This one is orange. It is orange, 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 orange. If I could pick a color that's orange out of the group, this is the most orange out of probably all of them. Pumpkin Patch is definitely a great standard ink. There's no sheen or shimmer in this one. It is just got some really nice shading. I will say Ferris Wheel Press came out with another ink, I believe, in October of 2023 this year that was called Harvest or Hardy Harvest or something like that. It is basically what it looks like to be the same color, but it has shimmer. So if you're wanting an orange with shimmer by Ferris Wheel Press, I would definitely see if you could track that one down. I do not have a sample of it and did not purchase a bottle or anything like that, so I don't really have it to compare, but I know it is a similar orange to this one. The next ink we have is Monteverde's Fireopal, and you can probably see the tiniest little bit of ink I have in this sample vial. I actually did buy a full bottle of this ink because I love it so much. It is so pretty, and this is all the ink I have. So I'm going to try not to break open the bottle to do this swatch with you guys. I'm going to hope that I can just dropper this on top of my pen. But this is such a gorgeous color. Fireopal is this gorgeous dark orange, and it has this almost red-black shading to it when it dries. It is stunning. I love writing with this ink. Honestly, in extra fine and fine nibs, it's more orange, and then as you go into the broader nibs, even stub nibs, it turns a bit more red. And I love that it's kind of like that color shift depending on what you want to write with that day. I can't say enough about this ink. It is one of my favorite orange-red colors to write with, and I don't really write with a lot of red and orange, so I feel like that's saying a lot. I also really like Monteverde as a brand. They're inexpensive, you get a lot for the quality, and yeah, I have several bottles of ink from Monteverde, honestly, mainly greens, but I really do enjoy this ink for sure. The next ink we have here is the only real bottle I guess I have for dipping out of. Like I said, I had a bottle of the Monteverde, but this is Diamine Flame. This is a standard ink from the 2022 green ink vent. This one is so beautiful. Again, it's orange. This one's a bit brighter to me than the Pumpkin Patch. Pumpkin Patch is a bit muted, I guess, or I guess more flat. I feel like Flame has a bit more dimension to it and that it's a little bit more warm than the Pumpkin Patch, but Flame is again one of those standard inks. It does have a bit of shading. It's also by Diamine, so they've pretty much established themselves as a pretty good ink brand at this point. They've been around forever. Yeah, so if you wanted a good standard orange ink that you know is going to be relatively good price and a good quality, this would probably be one to choose because it's really nice. It's a very good standard orange color. And yeah, I really do enjoy this color. I don't write with orange a lot, but I'm glad I have a small bottle of it. And the ink vents seem to always surprise me with what they have inside of them. So I'm excited for the purple one that they've come out with for this year. The next sample we have here is Taccia, I think it's Koiame. Again, pronunciation's still working on it, but I wanted to include some more Taccia inks because I have been obsessed. Taccia inks just have this interesting viscosity with writing. They're like wet but like viscous, like they're, I don't know what to describe it as. They're thicker than regular ink to me, but they don't like cause any problems. I also really like Taccia pens. I think they're so beautiful to look at. I personally don't have one myself, but I think they're really gorgeous. Yeah. As for this ink, anyways, Taccia Koiame is a nice standard orange. It does have some beautiful shading when it dries down. I want more Taccia ink. I think it's so fun to write with. They have some really good color shifters and sheening ones. I'm hoping to include more of them in my videos, but for now I've only got a few samples from Vanessa, and this is definitely one that I really enjoy, and I hope to write with this one soon. I'm thinking about maybe inking this one up for my November inks. Maybe I'll wait till January. I don't know yet, but this one's, I feel like I want to do this one soon because it's really nice. Next we have Robert Oster's Pen Chalet exclusive Sunburn. And I think I've talked about my fondness for the Robert Oster exclusive inks quite a lot on my channel, but this one is a stunner, and I hope you guys will agree with me. Robert Oster Sunburn is stunning with shading. It doesn't have a sheen that I remember, but we'll see what happens at the end result. But the shading on the Robert Oster exclusive inks with Pen Chalet specifically, I have experienced they are so good. The shading is just fantastic. As for orange, in terms of color, it is very orange in person. I wouldn't consider it the actual color of a sunburn on myself, just because I'm pretty pale and I turn bright red like a lobster, but maybe sunburn in terms of like you got a really bad tan, like if you went to like a tanning booth and got a really bad tan and turned orange, I think this would be the color you would turn. It does shade to a little bit of more of a reddish orange, so maybe that's the sunburn color they were going for, but I still really like this ink. It is beautiful in shading, and it's very, very nice to write with. Robert Oster inks are always really good for me too, so regardless, I think it's a fun one to have in the collection if you could get a sample from Pen Chalet like I did. The next ink sample we have here is Dominant Industries 189 Earl Grey Tea. This is one of Dominant Industries' standard inks. It doesn't have any shimmer to it whatsoever. It's not pearlescent or anything, and it is a beautiful bright orange color. I currently have this inked in my October currently inked videos, and yeah, it's beautiful. I have it in a medium pen, I believe, and it is a very nice shader still, even in a medium. So I would say in terms of ink consistency, ink brand, all that kind of stuff, Dominant Industry is a bit more expensive for the amount of ink that you would get, but the quality of the ink is always really good in my experience. I've never had a bad ink from Dominant Industry. It's just a little bit more pricey for the amount that you get. If you're buying it in samples like I do, just know that the sample may cost a little bit more because the bottle costs a little bit more, but it's a beautiful color, it's a beautiful consistency, and yeah. I don't really think this looks like tea though, I have to say. It's too orange for the tea that I drink. Next we have Sailor Shikiori Kin Mokusei. This Shikiori ink is gorgeous, as most of the other Shikiori inks are. I don't think this one has very much shading in terms of like color shift, which I know Sailor is famous for, but it does have some nice standard shading, I guess. It's just not a lot. In terms of color, it is bright orange. It is much like the Diamine Flame or even the Earl Grey Tea, just a little bit brighter. Personally, I like this color. It's not my favorite orange on the page, which is saying something because I do love my Sailor ink, but I would say in terms of color, it's orange. It fits the family very well, and it's a good one to include in this ink exploration, but it's just not as exciting as I guess some of the other inks, which is sad because it's a Sailor ink, and usually those are very exciting to watch. Next we have, of course, Pilot Iroshizuku Yake. And 𝗂𝗧𝗏, I believe, stands for sunset or something like that when I did the translations from my full Iroshizuku collection video. And in terms of coloring, I love this ink. The base is a pretty muted orange, which is really nice, but the shading on this one is very strong. And it's almost like a red-orange shade when it dries down. So in writing, it looks gorgeous. My boyfriend actually inked up his pen with this ink for the month of October, and I was so excited to see that he wanted to use an orange, and I was so glad that I could include this one in his pen. If you're interested, he's writing with a Lamy Safari with a broad nib, so of course this pen shows beautifully with this ink and all of the beautiful shading that it has. And the last ink we have for the oranges that are just orange is Pen Chalet's exclusive, again with Robert Oster, and this is Lost Dutchman's Gold. And this is the only shimmer ink I included in the oranges because I felt that Some of the other shimmers that I have were better suited for the other families of orange, like yellow orange or even more of like a red orange. So I left this one as my only orange shimmerer. Like I said with the other Pen Chalet exclusive Robert Osters, the shading on this one is fabulous, and the shimmer on this one is also really nice. So if you wanted a good orange shimmering one, I would highly suggest the Lost Dutchman's Gold. It is so fun to write with. In terms of color, the Lost Dutchman's Gold base is very similar to the Sunburn, also from Pen Chalet Robert Oster's exclusive line, but it's also really close to the Koiame from Taccia. It's a bit darker of an orange, but it's still pretty medium orange. I wouldn't say it's red orange or anything like that. The shading on it does kind of get a little darker towards the red orange side, but the shimmer on it, being that it's kind of a goldish color, does make it seem a bit lighter than it actually is. All right, so this is all of the inks that we will be having for the orange family here today. I'm going to let these finish drying down, and then I'm going to zoom you guys in and do some close-ups to see all of those fun sheening, shading, and our one shimmer. So I'll see you guys in a minute. All right, guys, I am back. Everything has pretty much dried down. There's a couple of wet ones on this side still, but nothing super substantial. We should still be able to see everything. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in, and we'll do some close-ups. Starting off with our Ferris Wheel Press Pumpkin Patch Up here, you can see that gorgeous shading going on. It's so pretty. It does have a little bit of a sheen, very minimal. It's, I wouldn't say it's black, but I guess it could be black. It's not strong enough for really, for it to really show its color. It could even be red, honestly, but it does have a very tiny little bit of sheen around that shading mark right there. Then we had Monteverde Fireopal. I love this ink so much. It does have a black sheen to it, but like I said, it starts off as that kind of like dark orange color and then shades to that gorgeous reddish, like brown orange color. I don't even know what color to call this, honestly. It is so beautiful. Again, when you write with this one in like a fine nibbed pen, it's a bit more of that base color, that orange, and then the broader nibbed pen you get a lot more of that gorgeous shading. So just keep that in mind if you like this ink as much as I do. Next we have Diamine Flame, which looks exactly or very close to Pumpkin Patch. So there's that. It does have that beautiful orangey red shading in the middle there and a little bit of a red sheen. I honestly really like this one. It's orange. It's a good bright color. I think it would be really nice in like a summer or maybe even a springtime pen just because of how bright it is, but not really a fall color in my opinion. Then we had Taccia Koiame. This one's a lot like Fireopal, and yeah, I'd say Monteverde is much cheaper than the Taccia inks, but the Taccia color is a bit more orange, and it does have that nice kind of reddish orange-brown shading in the middle there with a little bit of a black sheen. It is really pretty. I do love the consistency of Taccia inks. I don't know what they do to them, but the consistency is really nice. Then we had Robert Oster's Pen Chalet exclusive Sunburn. Again, like I said, it's not really the color of what I consider to be like a sunburn, at least on my skin because I'm very pale. But if you go to get like a really bad tan or something at a tanning salon, I think this would be the color you would be. It does have a minor black sheen to it, and the shading is a bit more of like a brownish orange versus like a red orange. But it's still a beautiful color, beautiful shading. I love the exclusive Robert Oster inks. They shade and the colors are always so fun. Then we had Dominant Industries Earl Grey Tea. This one does have a little bit of a wet spot on it, but it does have a red sheen to it, maybe like a reddish brown sheen. The shading is quite stunning. It goes to that kind of like red orange color from that nice medium orange base. And yeah, the quality of ink, Dominant Industry does a really great job. It's just price point. They are a bit pricey compared to some of the others that you could get for the quantity. Then we had Sailor Shikiori Kin Mokusei, and yes, I love this ink. It is bright, it is vibrant, it has almost like a red pink sheen to it. It does have a little wet spot on there, but it is bright orange. I would say next to Flame, this one is probably the next brightest orange I have, just in terms of color, but it is, I don't know. I feel like the Diamine is a bit more standard and the Shikiori is a bit more fun. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Then we had Pilot Iroshizuku Yake. I love this ink. I love the shading on the Iroshizuku line. It's just, every ink is always fun. This one does have a little bit of a sheen, which I don't remember it having. It's kind of like a reddish sheen. It's very minor right here. It also could be just this page of the paper. Sometimes I find that the Tomoe River paper, some pages are a little bit better than others with production, but maybe I'm getting my books wet or something, or they're sitting in a humid spot that I don't realize, but we'll see. The Yake is again gorgeous, kind of muted orange base with that red-orange shading. Tiny bit of sheen, stunning. Love the Iroshizuku line, absolutely gorgeous. And lastly, we had our only shimmer ink, and this is the Pen Chalet exclusive again with Robert Oster, and it's Lost Dutchman's Gold. So pretty with that gold shimmer. The base is kind of like a muddy orange color. It does have a bit of a black sheen, and then that gold shimmer again. The shading itself, it has a little bit of shading that goes a little bit darker orange, but it's not super drastic. You could probably see a little bit more in like the doodles I have over here. It's all right. I do like this ink. It's very beautiful. I wouldn't buy a bottle just because it's not really a color I write with all that often, but if you wanted a fun shimmery orange ink, I think this is a good one. All right, that is all I have for oranges number 2. Stay tuned for number 3, which is coming soon. And yeah, I really do love these oranges. I don't write with orange all that much, but in the fall and autumn months, like October, November, like where we are now, I love writing with orange. I think it's just fun because the outside is orange and then your planner pages or journal is orange, and it's really nice. If I had to pick a full bottle of any of these, I mean, I already have a full bottle of Fireopal, so there's that. I love Pilot Iroshizuku Yake. It is stunning. And then honestly, I'd probably pick the Shikiori because it's bright orange and it's just beautiful to look at. It's so pretty. But yeah, let me know which one you like the best in the comments. I always love seeing which ones you guys choose, or if you have any other oranges you'd love to add. I always like seeing those recommendations as well. If you're interested in any of the other ink exploration videos I've done, which have been plentiful at this point, I'll leave a little playlist down in the description, and I will also have it up in the cards. But for now, I want to thank you guys again so much for watching and joining me today, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.